Hi everybody, Fotaku here, and I want to talk about the brand new Doctor Strange movie that just came out. It was absolutely phenomenal, and I had so much fun from beginning to end with it. Sam Raimi is just such an amazing director, and it's awesome getting to see him make these superhero or comic book movies, and I highly recommend going out and checking it out. These are just my thoughts on it. I might go into a little bit of spoiler territory, but it was so incredible. Oh, I do say probably check this out in regular or IMAX or potentially also 4D IMAX. I tried just watching in standard 3D and I didn't really get the most out of it. Or maybe the theater I went to just probably wasn't like as up to par, but like there were some moments where it showed that the film just wasn't really created for it. But I've heard from other friends that have said checking it out in IMAX or in the 4D is just absolutely incredible. It's like a Disney ride, they say. Go check that out. And so the story just starts off with this character named America Chavez, who is apparently being stalked by this like crazy, like not Shumagorath, but I thought it was Shumagorath monster. And essentially, that's when Doctor Strange and Juan both intervene. And when helping her out, they learn that they'll probably need some assistance from somebody who's more familiar with room magic in order to figure out what is going on with this creature that was chasing Miss Chavez, who's only aware that it was chasing her because she has the ability to go through the multiverse, it seems. And so they decide to get some assistance from Wanda Maximoff, seeing as how she's probably more familiar with this type of wizardry or magic, only to later like learn that turns out she's the one who sucked the monster on her. So um that's pretty heavy. I'm just like, okay, that's rough. What's the motivation? The motivation is just Wanda wants to be happy, wants to have a family. Surprisingly, no Vision. I wish that there was some Vision, but there's already so much going on. But with what we have, it's a very, very tight story and it moves just so fast. Whereas there was just little hints of stuff with the multiverse that had just been brought up both with even the first Strange movie and also with Spider-Verse. I feel like they completely went all out with this one. Whereas the Spider-Man No Way Home was more so just kind of like a awesome love letter to all things Spider-Man. This was definitely the movie where it dives into all of the multiverse stuff, though we spend a lot more time in just one particular alternate universe more than say a lot others. There's so much that goes down within this one that just had me so excited, with a lot of cameos, a lot of audio, what's it called, audio fun to go with the reveals as well. I don't know if we'll get X-Men, but it was really nice to hear that X-Men theme when they did drop the mutants into the MCU. I really am hoping that we get more. That was just a alternate universe, so I'm just hoping that we will get a lot more in the upcoming movies. Hopefully, we now have an idea of who we'll be seeing for the Fantastic Four. Are we going to get a good Inhumans like adaptation? It's just this one proved not only that the possibilities are endless, but this wasn't a situation where it's just kind of like, okay, well, we see all this fluff. Is there more to it? The story itself is pretty on point. It's just Wanda wants to find an alternate universe where she can be happy with a family that she could not have in the WandaVision show. So that's the motivation, and it's just kind of like this is one of the characters that we like really enjoy. We got to see them become an Avenger and everything, and now in the hands of Sam Raimi, the Scarlet Witch is a full-on movie monster like thing. It is so crazy and it's so enjoyable, and I just, oh my gosh, it's just so much fun. And just the same way that like I feel a lot of Phase 4 has been, it's just been a lot of fun. I really enjoy this movie so much that I want to get back into my movie reviews, which for the reason I had stopped earlier was just a lot of stuff between the pandemic and also some things prior to it just had me feeling a little bit off. But like I think after this, it's just very much I want to get back into talking about these movies because it's really exciting. Like, and I want to hear what everybody's thoughts in the comments section are. Also, by all means, go ham. Like, I want to hear more. I am just so stoked. I don't really know what the mid credit scene is about. I'm not as into the comic books, so that went over my head. Though it is nice though that we do get Bruce Campbell, and I'm glad he gets to take up some extra time. It's always good to see him in Sam Raimi movies. And yeah, no, it's so much fun to go and watch it. And also, it's Mother's Day weekend, and I find that this is also conveniently a awesome Mother's Day movie to watch. But it do get cray. This movie was definitely leaning more towards that horror feel as it was advertised, and I guess a lot of people were like, was this supposed to be R-rated? And I kind of feel like it was. I feel like there are some places where it could go, but it's like still PG-13, but there were points where I literally was like in the midst of the action sequences and bodies do be dropping on screen, not implied, except maybe one a little bit more implied than the other, but like it very much do get violent, and I'm like, damn, like, is this still not rated R? Not like I'm kind of surprised if we'll get like a Raimi cut or something later, and it's like, oh, I want to watch the Multiverse of Madness rated R, even though I don't know how that will go well. That sounds like it'd be more of a DVD thing, though. I think that'd be really dope if you suddenly saw that on Disney Plus. But yeah, no, I can definitely see where this was also supposed to be like a horror movie at a certain point. And there's just that part of me that's just wondering how much darker it could have gone. But like, it's pretty good. But I would say probably maybe don't take kids to it. I don't know. I think they can handle it. I think it's no different. I mean, shoot, I saw RoboCop when I was a kid. That thing was so bloody. And yeah, I guess excuse me. I guess I'll depend. But yeah, no, do be aware when going into it. Um, but yeah, no, I feel like I've skimmed most of just the plot, so I guess like right now I'll just leave it at like we're gonna go into super, super spoiler territory from stuff from the movie. Otherwise, from here, it's just I feel like this was enough where I want to just get my thoughts out. Like the movie is essentially just a monster chase movie with Wanda as the monster, and Doctor Strange is trying to protect America Chavez from having her powers of going through multiverses stolen by Wanda, who wants to make her dream a reality of finding uh, the one universe where she can be happy with her family. It really gives me that vibe of like I think the Minerva storyline from the end of Voltron, and I was like very upset with how everything was built up, but there was like no real like emotional payoff to what was occurring. At least in my head, I felt like there was a lot that they were doing with Voltron that when I was watching it, I just kind of felt like, well, this is an interesting story to end it on. It felt weak. I felt like there was no responses really from the characters that they had within it, and it did feel like they wrapped up everything really crazy. And this is like that same story, except it's good and amazing, and holy crap, like it is so intense. I mean, I'm gonna watch it again sometime, like either this weekend or this week, just in general, because I saw in that 3D, I did not like it. I want to watch it in either IMAX or the 4D IMAX, according to my friends, and I couldn't like stress enough to go and check that out. So I just want to get into a little bit more spoiler territory. Just in case if I need to rate it, I would say, I don't know, should I go by 4 out of no, I think the 5. Yeah, 5 out of should do good. I would say like this is somewhere between 4 or 4.5 out of 5. Um I guess if I had to be critical about it, I personally feel like I just want to give it a 5 out of 5 just straight up because it was so awesome. Yeah, definitely go and check it out. Um and so yeah, so I lost my mind when I saw Black Bolt on there because I was like, oh damn, Inhumans, this is going down. There was Peggy Carter as Captain Carter, and that was so cool. I'm just like, dude, amazing. We had Big Tuna, my friend Jim Halpert from The Office is Mr. Fantastic, and yeah, and it's so cool. And then they had their what's it called? They had Patrick Stewart. Like I know he shows up or you hear his voice, but like he shows up as Professor X, and they even have theme play from the 90s cartoon is playing when he's just like is like in his reveal and all that, and I'm just kind of like, dude, this is so cool. I'm kind of curious as to whatever happened to Mordo from like the first movie, because it's implied that Mordo is pretty much now very antagonistic towards Strange, and we did get that um mid credit, or that mid credit scene in the first Doctor Strange where Mordo takes the powers away from one of the what's it called, one of the other people who went to learn from the Ancient One, and it's kind of just more implied that shit's going down, but like I guess it's just all been off screen because the way they drop Mordo's name into it, it doesn't really feel like we've had much to really go off of outside of that one encounter that we saw that Strange wasn't personally involved in when it was on screen. And here it's just an alternate universe of him that's more or less still the like same character, I guess, just less psychotic. But I do hope that we can get Mordo then in the next movie, as well as just the implications from this. Can we get more of the Fantastic Four? Can we finally get them into the MCU? Or are we finally going to get like Victor Von Doom? But it is dropped that the Fantastic Four is a 60s type of like hero group, at least according to the MCU. So now, like, will they be brought from the past into the future somehow? It's very cool. One thing though that I didn't really see tie into this as much, but it could just be that it went over my head. I did not see anything that reminded me that it was gonna like intersect with Loki, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't know what the whole end game is there, and this movie also doesn't really seem to point, as well as any of the new Phase 4 movies, don't seem to point in a direction that says, oh, this is our like goal, or like the main type of antagonist that we kind of had with like phases 1 through 3. So um yeah, no, I'm enjoying this. I think it'll be cool to see where these all converge, both with the Erishim thing from the what's it called, the Eternals. There's whatever shenanigans will be going on Earth now that Shang-Chi's sister is going to be the one who's in charge of the Ten Rings. Not to mention what Sharon's going to be doing, since now she's the power broker. It's very exciting, and it doesn't really feel like anything's going into one particular direction, but I'm more than happy to see in what storylines people are going to intersect. But of course, now we're going to get into more of the space stuff. I saw that trailer for Love and Thunder. That's pretty cool. It's also cool the Guardians are involved in there. I wonder how that'll work when getting to Guardians 3. Yeah, no, I'm ecstatic. I had a lot of fun with this movie. I hope that you all did too. And I'm going to see if I can do more of these at least once a week, to get back into a normal schedule of it. There's like so many movies I had seen though. I also saw the new Batman recently. I saw Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and I have so many thoughts about that movie. Yeah, no, so it's all grand. Um, yeah, no, it's yeah. Oh, and the one last thing. Wanda is scary in this movie. Oh my gosh, just so ridiculously like they could not have gotten anyone better. Definitely love what Sam Raimi did. Just like she tears apart just like so many people from the alternate universe. It is insane. And probably where I was questioning more about like what is the rating on this movie. So so yeah, so either way, I hope that you go and check it out. Um yeah, no, it's definitely cool. I feel like I keep on extending the time on this. I just love talking about. There's like one little detail that like I'm kind of curious about. So Black Bolt's power is just simply by speech. He can create all these vibrations and like distortion, destruction, and everything. It's like incredible. And what Wanda does to like kind of get around this when fighting is to like seal his mouth. And I got a lot of these vibes from like this story called I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. It's probably me reading way too much into that scenario, but it really fits well with Wanda's character arc because she's trapped essentially. She's trying to get into a new universe so that she can be with the people that she loves. And how that relates to the I have no mouth and I'm a scream is that it's a story about a killer AI who keeps like 5 people alive after causing a nuclear holocaust. And it's just kind of weird because it's like, why would it keep 5 people alive? And essentially, it's just because Iam himself is frustrated, bored, and he is trapped. Essentially, being that he is just a computer who's fully sentient, who knows he can be nothing more than a computer. He is trapped inside his circuitry, and that's why he is angry. Of course, he's the more metaphorical sense because something happens to one of the characters where they are essentially incapacitated with no mouth, cannot scream, but it's really just all a bigger metaphor. It's the same way that the antagonistic AI of I have no mouth and I'm a scream feels trapped. It's the same way that Wanda Maximoff feels trapped. And I don't know if that's in there. I know that Sam Raimi really enjoys horror. I don't know if he took any inspiration from that sci-fi story, but I kind of felt like it just, in that moment, it all just felt so on par. But yeah, thank you. These were my thoughts. I highly recommend it. The what's it called? More critic side of me will say it's probably a 4 to 4.5. The absolute like id brain that I have is just gonna say that it's a 5.5. It is super amazing. Go and check it out. I'm gonna go check it out at least once or twice more while it's in theaters. I definitely want to check out that 4D experience. And yeah, so like I hope they all have a good one. I'll see you next week with whatever movie either that comes out at the time, or if I'll just get around to reviewing one of the other many movies I've seen over the pandemic. Oh man, maybe I'll do this twice a week. I'll see. But alright, I hope they all have a good one. I'll catch you in the next one. Laters. Bye.